Hello everyone, my name is the Radman, and we are here to play some of a game that I just found out about called Agar.io. And let's see. Do show mass, that's fine. And yeah, we're gonna play as a guest for now. I'm hoping eventually they'll add like Google support or something so that you can just log in with something besides Facebook. But anyway, so if you haven't seen this game, it's called Agar.io. I don't know how new it is. All I know is that I saw someone playing it and I was like, that looks like a game I'd like. And it's a little bit laggy because I think that I might have accidentally let something be downloading in the background, and this is an in-browser game. You don't have to download anything for it, and your entire point is that you can all the controls are your mouse, W, and space. Now, as you can see, when I collect these dots, my mass goes up, and that's kind of why I turned that on, was so that you guys could see um, that as it's happening. And as you can see, it does take a little bit more of it to, do that every time that you kind of collect the dots. It sometimes can take a little bit, uh, a few more dots to gain more mass. But yeah, so the entire point of this game is to, well, I'm in free-for-all mode. There is a team mode where everyone has colors, and dang it, I was hoping that would work, but the problem was I kind of overestimated how big I was, and that was me pressing spacebar, by the way, to do that. And what that does is it splits you in half, and when you're really big, you can use it as a tactic to kind of attack other people who are smaller than you if they're in a big group. But if you're small, that means that you are at risk of being eaten by someone who was your size, because as you can see, I think that that person's done it. Yeah, and they've noticed me. Crap. And I think we'll be fine, because it does take them longer to move, because the bigger you are, the slower you move, which is how all the little fast starter people are able to survive. And I actually really like this game. It can be a little stressful at times, and you'll find out. I haven't been playing very aggressively, but if you get really aggressive, like if you saw when I split earlier, if I would have done that wrong, that smaller person could have potentially absorbed that second half of me and then come after me, which is always a problem when you are trying to become the biggest. And it can be sometimes hard joining a server, especially if a lot of people are really big. I see this Doge person every time I play. A lot of people, I guess they must use the same name, or there are like 20 people who play all the time, because I always see almost the same names every time I play this game. And yeah, I just thought I'd record an episode of this because I like it and I'd like to spread the word. And yeah, I probably will do some jump cutting during a series like this, just because it can get a little bit boring. But now watch this. Boom! Got you. Crap. And if you run into those green things, they are safe points if you're small. But if you're large like me and you hit into them, they will automatically split you up into about starter-sized little balls with one bigger ball. So you do have to be careful of them. And yeah, sometimes when people haven't spawned in yet, there will be like circles just sitting around, or if they go AFK. And obviously, I think that person probably went AFK or had just spawned in. Because I had, if you have really bad internet and you spawn in on a server like this, sometimes you'll get eaten before you can even start collecting the dots, because this is a very bad game to have lag in. And as you can see, it does take quite a lot to get on the leaderboard. I'm still not even close, I don't think, because I was up to almost 1,000 the last time I played. And as you can see, especially when you're smaller, it's just really easy to maneuver around big people. But if they want to, like I did earlier, they can shoot out their mass and catch you quite easily. And or you could be like that person. And another thing you should note is, if you, I don't know if you took notice, but the bigger you are, the more of the screen you can see. Crap. Like, that rad person probably has been looking at me for at least 5 or 10 seconds before I could see him. Which is another way it balances out. Like, obviously, this guy, if I was to chase him, oh, he's gonna go through there. Another thing is, I haven't showed you it because I don't want to lose any of my mass, but if you press W, you can shoot out mass in any direction that your mouse is pointing and you're moving. And I would show you it, but it is a little bit risky, because if your mass hits one of these things, it will cause it to explode, and whatever the explosion hits gets the same effect as if I was to ram right into that, and I don't want to show you because I'm actually doing pretty well. This server's interesting. The last server I played on had a lot of people who were really big but never took risks. Like, all they did was what I'm doing. It was floating around collecting dots, but they were like 2,000, I think probably was their score. So yeah, I'm trying to collect dots. This is a safe way of leveling up, even though it does take a while. But that is just because if you do it the risky way, which is you uh, shoot out parts of yourself at everyone to try and get them, you are vulnerable to being attacked by someone. Like, if I was to try and get this person, I'm not actually sure whether, if I split my mass, if I would be big enough to take them. And yeah, so like, if I took this person, I know that there are some other big people like this guy around, but if I split, I won't be able to see him, and then he could potentially come get me because I'd be half as big. So there's always a little bit of a thing. Thank you, beginner. Your sacrifice was well worth it. One advantage to being split up, though, is you can obviously collect dots a lot faster. And that was a huge lag spike. I wonder if that was just for you guys. Or actually, yeah, I'm recording my screen. Whatever happens on screen is what gets recorded. Oh, I'm also thinking about getting a webcam so that you guys can see my reactions to some things. Now, I obviously wouldn't use it in, like, I wouldn't be able to use it in my Lego series, just because um, those those are recorded about 10 feet away from where I actually record everything else. That's interesting. So either those people just spawned in, or Doge was just shooting out mass. I think that that was what happened, was they were shooting out mass. But yeah, I've picked up, I've like gotten close to little balls like that Doge guy just shot out, and they've turned into players before. Oh, come here. The best thing that you can do actually is find people like this who have split up and, like, yeah, like that, just absorb them. Doge, you are getting too close to me, and I know I can't take you, but if you reform, I know you can take me. Ugh, I don't like hanging around all the other big people. He might actually be able to take me. I just noticed the size difference. And the lag is not helping. Okay, he's going away. So yeah, if you guys wanted to know like a genre to define this as, I would call it a survival game, because Well, I would kind of call it a strategy survival game because you do have to take some risks and determine what is an acceptable loss. Like I've seen people who, like if you've seen Markiplier, I watched a few of the episodes he's put out of this game. Um, it was quite interesting his tactic. He basically does kind of what I do, except he's a lot more risky, which means that sometimes he will get the people who very like just started out just so that he can say that he got them. Because a lot of times what you get is people like this who, even if they realize you're there, they'll hang around because they figure that you aren't going to take the time to try and get them because they aren't they aren't worth your trouble or something. But it's really funny when someone actually does try and take them. And don't you dare touch me, Rad. I am the Rad Man. Oh, they're getting attacked anyway. That's the other thing is sometimes due to your size and how much bigger some people are than you, it does get a little. Oh my gosh, I've actually been like afraid of Doge, and it turns out that he is number 2 right now, and that Rad person is number 1, and now Rad just got knocked down. And did you see that small person? That's also something that can happen to you if you're not careful, is even if you're watching where you're going when you're small, you move so fast that sometimes you just accidentally get absorbed into other people. I've had it happen to me and it's not very funny, especially if you've been working at it for a while. Because there is kind of a point where people don't really notice you because you're just small enough that that's not really worth their time, but just big enough that they, oh, I want those people. Oh, when people split like that. Yes. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, I'm not quite big enough to take that guy in with my smaller circle. That's also another disadvantage. Oh, can Godzilla take my smaller circle? I don't. Okay, and that's another thing is sometimes people will team up right like that because if you are on the leaderboard, usually people will try and find a way to bring you down because some people get jealous of you. I've seen it happen a lot of times. This is actually one of the first times I've managed to get up and stay on the leaderboard because even though the game may look easy, there are a lot of ways people can knock out your mass. I just haven't seen a lot of it on the server. It's really weird. People are actually playing the game nicer on this server. And I think you do pretty well find a new server every time you play, because that's at least what it seems. There are just a lot of people named Doge for some reason. And apparently Rad's also another really popular name. Team for real. If you try it, I'll find a way to kill you. And if you see people who say like W equals team, W is eject mass, and basically you feed them, so they consider, I don't know, it's a really weird relationship if you actually press W, because usually they'll just come find you and kill you when you're small because they know that you teamed with them before. I say that with air quotes, as in if you actually team with someone, it's pretty much the only reason I've seen it done is if you're trying to get a person who's slightly smaller than them killed by them, like this Rad person. Oh my gosh, look at that. He just actually did the W equals team thing. The one thing I don't like is when I'm at this size, it's really hard to determine who I can and cannot take. Because everyone else around me is really, really big right now. And I can't catch any of these small people like this guy. And if I would have pressed space to try and go after him, I know I would have lost that second half, if not more, because we are so similar in size. Which is why this game is so hard. Hmm. I kind of want to eat this guy just because his name is I won't eat you. And we all know that's a lie. Oh yeah, 2 for 1. And what I could have done there, if I wanted to, was I could have split again, but that would have put me at even more risk, because 500 and 600 are a pretty good match for most of the people in this server right now, but there is still people like Doge, 4chan. I'm kind of just looking up at the leaderboard right now. Like, everyone above me in the leaderboard potentially is bigger than me, even at my max size. So whenever I'm moving around, I have to be careful about splitting because they could be my size or bigger, which means that even though I am a really big size, like I'm number 10 on the leaderboard and I've stayed there for quite a while, I can be easily knocked down just by one little accident, like me splitting in front of one of them and then one of them being able to take one of my parts. There we go. I was afraid I wasn't going to reform. I've had it happen where I, for some reason, couldn't reform very well. And it looks like they're actually fighting each other because I just moved up 2 spots in a few seconds. And yeah, every episode after this is going to be more interesting than this one. This one is more showing you overall the game. In the future, it'll probably just be highlights of me after I've played for, an hour. I'll probably cut it down to 20 minutes-ish of video. Kind of, if I get like really mad or something, and especially once I have a face cam, it'll be more interesting. Looks like that rad guy is number 1, and Doge is just barely above me. Oh, another thing to remember is I could probably safely hang around some of these bigger people because you do have to be about, I think it's 120% bigger than someone else to actually eat them. Which is why if one Titan like me eats another Titan, like if they can track down and eat all their individual parts, they'll be in a really good position. And hey, apparently I'm losing mass. I don't know, maybe it's like going hungry or something. I've never had the mass indicator turned on, so I've never actually seen that happen before where you lose mass like that. That's another good reason to stick around the dots. I will gladly take those Pika. Thank you. I cannot fit around there. I was gonna try, but we'll be squeezing. Thank you, Pika. If you see this video, I'm very appreciative of you. And if you don't, well, I think that they can guess I'm very appreciative of them. Oh, Doge got knocked down. Another thing you can do is if you shoot these spiky balls, you can cause them to explode, and I think I mentioned that before, but I'm almost wondering if that's what's happening with some of these big people, because they should be big enough that not many people can actually compete with them. And I think also the bigger you get, the harder it is to maintain your mass, because as you can see, even though I'm taking in a lot of these dots, I'm still apparently losing mass, which is interesting because I didn't actually realize you could lose mass just by moving around without eating. And I can't find anyone. The server is being really weird because people are not very aggressive, but it's really hard to find people right now. And I think they are actually big enough that they could eat me. What number are they? They're just above me. That W4W equals team guy must be absolutely massive. Yeah. I kind of want to try and find some of these other big people. Oh, and as you can see right now, I'm taking in like a lot of dots, but it's really hard for me to gain any mass right now. I kind of want to split. I think, can I get feels? Oh, come on. There we go. I wanted feels. And now if I group all my people together so I can keep an eye on them, I think that I can keep gaining mass without losing too much of it. Except now I'm really vulnerable. They probably weren't actually worth it, but yeah. I've seen people who have had like 4, I'm gonna call these just satellites because I am controlling them, but they are a little more dangerous to have and high. I think you could actually eat that satellite of mine. Yeah, I'm starting to reform, so come here. Come at me, bro. Come at me. Come at me. You want some? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Oh, you want some of this too? Well, I got plenty. I got plenty of mass right now. I was back up to 1400 for a little bit, and then I lost it. The problem is you move so slow when you're this big. And I've been also keeping tabs on my internet, and it looks like my internet, this is not a very intense game on your internet. You just probably shouldn't be downloading other stuff, I think was my problem. And Doge is somehow still below me, and I'm chasing them right now. Just worried I'm gonna drop a rank if I'm not careful. Oh no, he did the thing that you can do. That was really bad. Yeah, that was what I was worried about, was someone doing that to me. I think if I can keep all my little guys out in front. No, I can't move fast enough. Darn you, Doge. Oh, I was just saying how nice people were on this server, but that is one of the most annoying tactics you can really encounter in this game right now. There we go. Now I'm reforming. No, 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 not allowed, not allowed, not allowed, not fudging allowed. Go away, Hot Piston. If I get reformed, you are doomed, my friend. Doomed. Come on, reform, reform. Shoot, shoot, shoot. I was hoping I could reform, but it looks like he got that other part of me. Anyway, I'm going to call that an end to this game because I'm pretty sure I played that for about 20-ish minutes. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next episode. Keep in mind it will be more highlights and not an actual full game like this. It'll probably be like highlights like when I eat someone or when someone eats me. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. My name has been the Radman. Goodbye.